Hello, I'm Liviu Bălan and today I will speak about git config on Ubuntu Server. So let's get started. First, I will connect to a virtual machine using SSH Ubuntu VM. Next, I will switch to another user, liviu.bălan, which is having rights to write files inside of a directory which is used by a virtual host. Next, I will change the directory to the actual virtual host using cd var www http.liviubălan.com. Hit enter. And now, in order to show you how git config works, I will create an empty git repository using git init. Hit enter. And now, as you can see, an empty git repository was initialized. If I type ls-al, you can see that a new directory .git were created inside of my current working directory. Now, if I type ls and type git status, you'll see that all the files are untracked because no files were actually added into the current git repository. So if I type git add index.php, for example, and then type git status, you will see that I have a file which is waiting to be committed. So if I type git add git commit -m commit message, you will see that git is giving me an error and is telling me that user.email and user.name should be defined, and for this I should use git config --global user.email and user.name. Okay, before doing this, what is git telling me, I want to show you something. In git, you're able to set up three types of configuration levels. The first one is the system configuration level, the second is the global configuration level, and the third is the local one. Let's talk about the system configuration level. Okay, if I use this command here, is the one that is git was telling me, but instead of using the global level, I am using the system level. Let's use this one. So if I type sudo git config --system user.email and then my actual email, which is liv_romania@yahoo.com, and hit enter, I need to type the sudo password. Because the current user isn't a sudo user, I will open a new terminal and type ssh ubuntu vm. Because Liviu is an actual sudo user, I will type sudo git config system user.email liv_romania@yahoo.com. Hit enter, type the sudo password, and then after this I will also use sudo git config --system user.name Liviu Bălan. Hit enter, and now the system configuration level for user.email and user.name were set. In order to verify this, I will open using vi the file from etc git config. As you can see, git were created a new file located in etc git config where the name and email were set for me. If you want, you can manually edit this file and write things here, but in order to avoid problems with the file syntax, I recommend you to use the git config command. I used sudo here because git were writing files inside of etc git config, and in order to write files here, I have to be a sudo user. Now, if I go back to my previous tab, and now if I type git commit and then commit message, now if I press the enter key, you will see that I am able to commit the changes in Git. If I type git log, you will see the first commit were put it here, and the name were Liviu Bălan and email liv_romania@yahoo.com. Now, the second configuration level is the global configuration one. This one is specific to each user. The previous one, the system configuration level, is taking values for every user on the system and all the repositories. So if you want configuration level specific to one user, you will use the global configuration level. Now, if I use git config again, but without the sudo rights, and instead of using the system level, use the global one, I will set the user email to liv_romania@yahoo.com too. Hit enter and use the same command again to set the user.name value to Liviu Bălan 2. Hit enter, and now if I use vi to see what is inside of my home directory, that git config file, hit enter, you will see that git were created a new file here and put it the values for email and name here. Now, if I type ls git status and add another file using git add, let's say file.txt, and then git commit -m commit message 2, let's say 2, hit enter. Now if I use git log, you will see that for the second commit, the values used for the author, name and email were Liviu Bălan 2 and liv_romania@yahoo.com 2. What is interesting here is that, like in CSS for example, Git is using the latest configuration level to rewrite the previous one. So if you have a system configuration level and then a global configuration level which is writing the values for the same git key, the latest one is used. So the global configuration level is rewriting the values for system configuration level. Okay, now the global configuration level is specific to each user. If you want to configure a value specific to a single repository, you can use the local configuration level. For example, if I want to set the value for user.email specific to the current repository, I will use this syntax: git config -- local user.email live_Romania@yahoo.com 3. Hit enter, and then I will use the same command again, git config, in order to set the value for user.name. Hit enter, and now if I use vi in order to see what is inside of my current directory .git/config, I will see that Git were creating these two values, email and name, using the third values provided. These values are created by Git when I used the git init command. Okay, now if I type git status and then add another file in Git, let's say file.txt2, and then git commit -n commit message 3, for example, hit enter, and then if I use git log, you will see that the third git commit where by the author livebalance3 using the email live_Romania@yahoo.com 3. So the local configuration level were rewriting the global configuration level. Okay, as I told you here, each of these levels, system, global and local, overrides values in the previous level. My personal recommendation is to use global level in most of the cases for global side situations, because you will want to set the values for the current Git users and not on the global operating system, because on the same operating system maybe there are different users and each of them were wanting to have their own configuration files. But if you want to do something specific or globally, remember that system configuration level, global configuration level and local configuration level exists. Now, besides the mandatory fields, which are user.email and user.name, there are a lot of configuration values that you can config. One of them is the editor to create and edit commit and tag messages. For example, if I type git status and let's say that I will add apples.html. Now, if I type git commit and hit enter, you will see that the nano editor were opened with a default message. If you want to change this default editor, all you have to do is to change the value for core editor. Now, if I use git config -- global core.editor and use vi and hit enter, now if I use git commit again, you will see that the vi editor is used. Okay, another useful command, another useful value that you want to override is commit template. This one here. This is the default message when you commit. So as you saw here, when you use git commit, you will see this default message. If you want to change it, first I will have to create a file, let's say .gitmessage.txt, which I will place inside of my current home directory. So use vi and create a file inside of your home directory using vi.gitmessage.txt. Hit enter, and here I will place the content here, write and quit. Now use this command git config -- global commit.template and the location of the file that I've previously created. Hit enter, and now if I use git commit again, you will see that here I have to write a subject line, what happened, and here this is a commit ID that I have to use. This is very useful because maybe if you are using a bug tracker such as Atlassian Jira, maybe you will want to use git hook and specify the ID of the ticket, what have you done in order to fix or improve some code of your current project, and short description here. So all you have to do is to replace the values here with actual values. Okay. If you want a brief for the configuration that I used during this tutorial, this is here, and this is how you should use them using the global configuration level. And after you've set up all the values that you want, you can see them using git config -- list. So this is showing you all the configuration values that you've previously set up. If you want more info about git config, you can use man git -config. Here you can see a lot of options that you can set up in order to suit your needs. There are a lot of them. Okay, so this is how you use git config on Ubuntu Server. If you want to learn more about Git, about Ubuntu Server, about web technologies, you can visit my tutorials on YouTube, and also check out my tutorials on livybalan.com. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.